Said, James. Dumb Money Media, you've had your hand up patiently for a while here.
Oh, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Dumb Money Media, the king of money, the king of dodging eviction notices. So, yeah, I created the SilverDegenClub that some of you guys were referring to, and that's when I saw the night of a billion bans happening, and everyone, all the apes finding refuge in our very very new Reddit community. It was just chilling there, but if you want to compare stats when it comes to I don't know what I don't know who in their right mind would give $25,000 even for a 6 month plan. But if you look at the stats, and there's websites you could do this, they're publicly available. Subredditstats.com. You could type in Wall Street Silver there. You could type in ours there, and you could see the kind of traffic they were getting every day. And I don't know how someone would pay 25K to advertise on this platform because, yes, the numbers did say 239,000 followers, but I mean, they're getting like the average is like 350 posts a day out of that many people. Right now, we actually we just got over 5,000 people, and we're hitting kind of that average already. So,
Jim. I'm sorry, Dumb Money Media. Jim definitely used algorithms to pump up those Reddit numbers.
oh, I guarantee it. I could actually probably even spot it when it's happening because I used to look the average was always a certain amount of people online, let's say like 800 to 1100. Then randomly for 30 minutes, multiple times, throughout the day, it would spike to 3,000 and above of active users, and then instantly drop. And it's clear that they're using. I mean, allegedly. I mean, I guess it could be real traffic, but that is common when you're using services like Upvote or any of these bot farm type things. So I don't know if they were using it. I just think it looks suspicious. And
No, I'll tell you personally over the phone. That guy said that to me.
oh, okay, then yeah. Then I guess so. I guess so. But I mean, uh, Meme Sergeant Spliff or Silver Spliff on Reddit. He's the one that actually put out a post on Wall Street Silver saying that he would give out a 10-ounce bar to anyone that would find the ledger and show him proof of a ledger that existed with the GoFundMe. And that was taken down very fast, very fast. And it also coincided with Ditch the Deep State, which thank you, Ditch. We love that you're hanging out with the degens. And anyone that was typing in keywords, they were all getting banned and just coming straight to us. So basically, what uh, it's just like a kind of like a. I guess we could wait a few more weeks to see how things like play out, but they basically lost all their content creators all in one night. All maybe the course of like 36 hours. And now we're actually seeing what the real numbers are. And I mean, the numbers to me right now, they seem astronomical. They're like, they're really high for our group, the Silver Degen Club. But if that's the same numbers that we have right now, if that's the same numbers that they were average, like trying to show all these like mining companies and be like, yeah, you're gonna get all this activity and stuff. That means that they didn't do any background check at all. They did zero, which is
Yeah,
insane to me.
most of these people don't know how to do that background check. I mean, let's be honest. They don't. They can see top line numbers, but they don't understand how to go under the hood.
It's just insane to me. And as we look at this going forward, I mean, I've been with them. I was with Wall Street Silver since there was around 20,000 members. So I wasn't like the first person there, but like I was there maybe a few months after and stuff. And I was making videos for them. They would never show them. They if they ever responded, it was just like, oh yeah, we'll get to it. And they never did. And Rob Keynes and Chris Marcus were the two guys that like kind of pulled me out of the gutter when it comes to wanting to continue to make anything. as a content creator, and I really owe a lot, really love those guys and owe a lot to them. And I think ethically and when it comes to expertise, they're both experts at different subjects. I mean, they both know silver and gold. They both understand that more than enough. But if there's anything that could possibly save the cesspool that is the Wall Street Silver name now, it is those two guys. So I nominate them. You got my nomination, guys. I would say those are the, if there's any saving it. I don't know if there is any saving it. They're getting 30 posts a day right now. That's nothing. So like I don't even know who's there anymore besides Ivan and his 25 alt accounts that he has. Just posting the same stuff from probably one of you guys in this room, because there is a lot of evidence of that. Screenshotting. It's so lazy. Don't, I mean, if you're gonna screenshot it, at least put something on it to add to it. But it's just the way it is. But yeah, if there's any way to save Wall Street Silver, I would say to put Chris and Rob in there. Let them be the voices of reason and of ethics, and lead it forward for what it is and what it should be going forward.
Right on. Well, hopefully, hopefully there can be a place for all of those people going forward.
Well, for sure, it is here at the SilverDegenClub. It's all the OG meme creators that were never allowed to do anything under Jim and Ivan's supervision. And actually, whenever we would make stuff making fun of Jeff Christian after that lunch meeting that Jim and Jeff had, Jim was telling us to not do anything about Jeff Christian after that. So we weren't allowed to like make anything, but of course we're like, why? So so we just kept doing it anyway. And that was kind of how the group formed, because I got banned. Creflo got snuffed after VBL posted the article on Zero Hedge, the more recent one. And Jim flat out said, "No, I'm not going to post that. We're beyond. That's not part of my Twitter now. We're beyond that. The history story of Wall Street Silver." And that anyone that was on the fence on the original meme team, once Creflo got just completely ignored by Jim and just told flat out no, they all jumped into the new group that I made, and it was just like the 12 of us. So it was just us. We're like, whatever, we're just gonna post to ourselves. It doesn't even matter. Like, we can't get our stuff. All our stuff gets taken down anyway. It doesn't even matter. But what an incredible way to I think with having all of us like putting our minds together with the OG meme group, and all you guys that are here that I've talked to. I talked to you guys personally with DMs and whatever. I love you guys too. I I think we're able to actually create something that's better, because we have to reach a younger crowd. The majority of the people that all these mining companies and even all these everyone in the industry is promoting to, they're promoting to a client base that's dying. So you got to reach their kids or their kids. And I think with the way we're doing it right now, we're going to be able to tone that in and get everything really, really like set up the right way to actually to bring new people into Sound Money. And if you look at my George Gammon interview, where I snuck in with my shower cap and my shower curtain for a cape and my $5 Amazon crown, then my message is kind of the same there. Sound Money, content creators, and just helping these small people out, because these are the big client base. These are the people we should be looking to help the most. At least when I think about it.
Agreed. All right, thanks, Dumb Money. Hayden, you've had your hand up for a while and been patient here as name. You've been waiting as well. Do you want to speak? All right, Liberty List.
Yeah, you should let Liberty go.
Oh, hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I was a huge follower. I was sort of like, cheerleader online for Wall Street Silver, and at this point, I guess it is what it is. But I think the beauty of having these little extra spaces and, decentralizing the talk about it is anybody can join. You know, the newbies who are into numismatics, you know, the people who have been, you know, around since Liberty Dollar. That's how I got involved. Someone recommended the sound money to me, and I saw the billboards for Wall Street Silver and joined up. But I think the silver squeeze is going to move on with or without them. I think it would be great. I really was crushed when I heard that Wall Street Silver wasn't as sterling as I thought it was. So I hope it can be saved, but like everybody else said, it's not looking great. So I think it'll move on with or without them, and pretty much the power relies with everybody who was with the movement to begin with. You know, Happy's still posting. We have all the due diligence coming in and out, and the memes are very great over there.
Awesome. Thanks, Liberty List. Does anybody else have any other questions? I see Chris Marcus just popped in. If you want to chat, you've been nominated to take over the Wall Street Silver. If you want to acknowledge that or not, Steve as well. But if as we kind of wrap up here, you know, we can answer a few final questions, and hopefully this time has been valuably spent here this evening.
Hey, Tom.
Yep.
Thanks for hosting this. As always, you are a wonderful host. I just want to say, I should have said this a while ago. Can we please call him Lewis?
Yeah, I was going to mention. Oh, Chris, you got your mute. Go ahead and talk. I'll go after.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a specific question for me. I'm happy to answer any if there are. Obviously, the whole situation is unfortunate. And I think most people who get into silver have good motives. That's certainly what drew me into this. That's why I left Wall Street back in 2012. And, you know, I get both sides of it. We do have sponsors to the show. There was a long time I was doing this before we had sponsors, and tried to follow all the ways of being upfront about that. I don't think that has been, hopefully hasn't been confusing. I mean, obviously, often when we have the end of the show, I'll say today's show was sponsored by this company. So I certainly get it, how people feel. And, you know, I guess I've tried to be the best steward of sharing what I believe. And there was a gentleman who spoke before who said about people coming on there and saying, you know, this is going to be a 10 bag or something like that. And I've actively gone out of my way to do that, or to say that silver is going to $50 tomorrow. You know, again, my eye-opening experience was when I was sitting on a trading floor back in 2009. You know, I just come from business school. I'm on a trading floor and no one around me and seeing this stuff happening. And Bernanke was saying perfect storm, and the only guys that I saw that had seen it in advance were all talking about gold and silver. So I think, like a lot of the people who get into this, I guess I never expected it would go on for as long as it has, but it felt to me that there was going to be an issue going forward. And, you know, that's what led me to do what I've done. And hopefully that's been helpful to people. And again, you can let me know if there's a particular question, but just obviously from the stuff that's come out, you know, it's certainly unfortunate. And anyway, I've just tried to be someone who shares what I see out there and be as honest about it as possible.
Absolutely. And I think your following obviously shows that, Chris. The egg guy, do you want to say something?
I had been in the space early on. I'm Dimitri. I was the original creator of the Twitter and YouTube for Wall Street Silver. I just wanted to check in. I know I kind of got kicked out of the space by Jim and Ivan, so I just wanted to give my side of the story.
Hey, real quick, I can vouch that's Dimitri's voice. He was the guy who was on the other end when I interviewed with them, the first interview on Wall Street Silver's YouTube. After that happened, then all of a sudden, Ivan was there, but then all of a sudden Jim showed up after the fact, and more or less Dimitri disappeared. And he basically deleted the original interview I did with Dimitri. And I tweeted out that original interview with Dimitri, so you can see it. It's on my Twitter profile. So yeah, that's Dimitri. That's one of the originals.
Yeah, what had happened with the two accounts is Jim and Ivan had wanted me to hand them over, and because I knew they were, not they were kind of unsavory actors, I wasn't gonna, hand them the passwords because I was worried that all the work I had done would get removed and I would get kicked out, like what's currently happened to me. So I didn't. They used Reddit to tell the community and lie, tell them that I had changed the passwords to the Reddit accounts, and they created new accounts to mimic mine and told everyone that I had, yeah, scammed everyone pretty much.
So what did they say that you were scamming people for, Dimitri?
One of the things that they didn't like is that I created one of those e-commerce t-shirt shops. I was trying to sell, Wall Street Silver merch, use the Twitter, to get, Wall Street Silver out there more, selling t-shirts and merchandise. And I guess they didn't like that. So they said I was trying to monetize the community and kicked me out, which is kind of ironic,
How
given
ironic,
what they're
yeah.
doing. I think it was more about them not getting their cut.
Fair. Anything else to add, Dimitri?
Also wanted to add that, doing the first interview with James, the way the YouTube channel had originally come up as an idea is that we were going to do like something on Reddit that's called an Ask Me Anything. And, James was the first one to bite. At first, everyone thought it was weird and stuff. Nobody wanted to get involved, but, James jumped for it. And we wanted to source questions from the community, get everyone involved because, in the YouTube space, there hadn't really been something like that before. I had been watching it for a while. So I wanted to create something, for younger people, but seems like Jim and Ivan really got away from that idea. What they're doing now is completely different, which kind of sucks, but it's what happens when.
Dimitri, I just retweeted that on my profile, that clip. If someone goes on my profile, I have my standard tag thing about silver going exponential, etc. But the next tweet down, you'll see a subtweet of me sitting there with a like the SD Bullion logo in the background's reversed. It's like totally reading dyslexic. That's the original clip from February 1st, 2021. So yeah, I mean that's it. So just so you know, it's legit.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your input here, Dimitri, and James, you vouching for him as well. Liberty List, you got something else to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in that moving forward, it seems like transparency was the hugest red flag that we all sort of ignored from Wall Street Silver until it came down to the bans, mentioning the ledger, mentioning Happy Hawaiian or Ditch the Deep State. And that became like the hugest migration over to the SilverDegenClub. And, whoever takes over, facilitates the movement for the silver squeeze. Right now, we're just there to moderate, make sure everybody's posts are appropriate, on topic, and, help each other out. I remember when I joined Wall Street Silver, the early community, Ivan would constantly be spamming, we are family, which was probably another red flag looking back on it. But people would chime in all the time. They'd give super helpful tips, old timers, young people. Hey, I found this quarter in the coin slot. What does it mean? How come it doesn't have the little, brown edge on it? Super helpful, super positive. And I think moving forward, we really want to keep that energy going, but don't put your trust into, a cult of personality like Jim, somebody like that. So whether Rob steps up and he tries getting into the Wall Street Silver to shine the name back up, or if we completely move on somewhere else, I think it's important that whoever's managing it, facilitating, is 100% transparent.
This is Rob Keynes of Gold Tour Pros. I'd like to speak for a second, if that's okay with everyone.
Of course, Rob.
So we all have our experiences with Jim, and appreciate the forum, Tom, and everybody that you guys put together for people to talk about it. I know when you deal with narcissists, a lot of times it seems like you come out of there needing a support group to kind of deal with it. So that appreciate you guys put this together. I want to chime in a little bit from the regulatory perspective. Having been an auditor for 12 years, I do appreciate people's want and need for transparency. I would caution people on the regulation end, though, because what's likely to happen, and what I saw in financial services when I used to have a bunch of those licenses, is the government doesn't do a great job of really monitoring anything. And sometimes those licenses and regulations can give people a false sense of security. Financial services might be the dirtiest area of the economy I ever worked. I wasn't there for very long. I was there to learn for myself, but not to sell. So the one things I really love about this community is the fact that really I think people look more towards the honesty in people. And I think the best part of community is that you can pretty much figure out who are the honest ones and who aren't. And a lot of that can be self-policing. And my last comment is, if you see somebody that's a larger than life personality, always question how that person got there. Not saying it's not a good thing for that to happen. And it's great, especially in our industry that gets so little press in the mainstream media, to have people that get access to that. And I certainly think a lot of people felt like Wall Street Silver was, had that potential, to get on mainstream programs and to be a part of, shining a light on what a lot of us really hope happens in the precious metals. But the flip side of that coin is those larger in life personalities, now we can kind of see how dangerous they can be. So for me, it's, I'm kind of examining who I'm going to have on my show going forward. And people have noticed I haven't had a lot of people on. I have to reevaluate, I think, our own strategy. And I think us doing that is really, that self-policing probably is what I would look for the most. I think most people here are good and honest people. And I think if we work together as a community, much like Wall Street Silver started, then I think we can build back up, that legitimacy and that sense of community. But I would say one of the things I learned as an auditor is to be bold. And if you see something happening, talk about it. Don't be afraid to stand up to the bully. Sometimes that's what we need to do. And I take that on myself too. I probably should have said something a little bit earlier, much like Jim said, at the beginning of this. I probably should have been more vocal about what I saw. And I have regrets about that. But I do think we as a community can handle it. It's just up to us in the community to point out where we think there's not transparency.
Fair. Thank you, Rob.
Say something super fast.
Mhm.
Fringe News is also one of the people that started with the original team of Wall Street Silver too. So if you need to kick me to add her into it, that's fine and stuff. But yeah.
She was added and she disappeared. So I don't know what happened there.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I just wanted to give you a heads up and stuff. If she comes back, you could add her and stuff. But
Okay, thanks.
I still nominate Rob and Chris to take over Wall Street Silver.
News, you've wanted to share your side of the story here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did, just because I kind of got thrown into Wall Street Silver, I think, before I realized all of the drama that was kind of unfolding within it in the beginning. And the most important reason I wanted to be here tonight is because I knew that Demi would show up. Some people in here probably don't know his full side and mine, so I don't want to step on any toes, but if somebody was looking for future leadership, I would not put that into Demi's hands. I would say that if given the opportunity, it would have turned into the same exact thing. To be honest, especially with the stuff that people have dug up these past couple of weeks, I had my early experience I made my Truth About Wall Street video, and I just kind of walked away. But especially with some of the stuff that's been dug up, I knew that I wasn't dealing with great people after a while, and that's why I walked away. But Dimitri, there's even been evidence now that you've ripped people off and scammed people out of silver off of Reddit communities. So it's kind of one thing if you just want to go and capitalize on a movement or make as much money as you can. That's kind of one thing, not something that I'd particularly like, but now that people have also dug up that you might have scammed some people out of metals is just, that's beyond disgusting. And I don't really want anything to do with running anything that starts up from here on out. I'm very happy to be a part of the community that's out there. I enjoyed the people that I got to speak to whenever doing interviews or doing videos back then, but I just don't think that that's something I would want to be involved in. And I think that, power corrupts, and power corrupts absolutely is kind of the picture that we're seeing here now. And just as somebody that's a part of this community, we need to be very careful about who, if there's going to be a running of a next big channel or Reddit page or whatever it might be, let's just be really careful about, who you're putting that sort of trust into. And that's just kind of all that I wanted to say.
Kinsey, I wanted to tell you that I saw your video back then, and you were so sincere. And I said, "Oh my God, what if she's right?" And that's what put me on my guard, and we chose to do something different. So I've been meaning to talk to you and tell you thank you for doing that. You were the first person ever to speak out, and you're a hero.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say necessarily a hero or anything like that. I'm glad that some people had the opportunity to go and see that video. It took a lot just to put it up because, I've had people tell me, and my family did some digging into Jim's past. So it was kind of do you really want to put yourself out there like that? But the community was so big, so fast, that I couldn't just prioritize myself at the moment and kind of slip away into the shadows. It's like I did what I could to tell people that this could go really bad and walk away. Like I didn't really care about the consequences that could have came from that. And thank you to everybody. I saw there were many people that had some really mean things to say back then, and I have gotten some apologies now. I don't need anybody's apology for that. Sometimes it's easy to get a little bit starstruck, or in today's movement, we got to be so careful with social media. It's so easy to get inside of that echo chamber and see somebody that could be your hero as somebody that a lot of you would label an anarchist or something like that. You need to kind of set your own destiny. Of so many different communities that are out there, and it's great that we have social media to kind of engage with those people, but let's be a little more careful about who we put trust into. There's so much good information out there that you can get it from multiple places, so I don't think that we all have to stay in one place. And then kind of having a cult following seems to be the new thing to do, especially with investments. So, for our younger generation, let's just kind of be careful with that, because it could end really badly, even if someone didn't intentionally do that.
And to your point, I don't see why any of these movements have to have a particular leader. It would almost seem better if we had moderators that knew nothing about metals, and they just kept topics appropriate, kept posts appropriate, as per Reddit. But if we just had an actual, community that could interact, could share ideas without getting, blocked. And as Happy was saying earlier, the best ideas come to the top by upvoting. I think that would be the best. It doesn't need to have one particular person to steer it.
Yeah, and then just to clarify that, both for, I'm not a huge fan of Dimitri, but I also understand what he was doing in the past as far as the ownership, because I'm sure that can be a question for many people that are listening. With what I was doing back then, like I am somebody that truly believes in, so like I've posted enough of my stack on the Reddit. Like I'm pretty into it, and I have been for a while. You know, not as long as some other people, but I'm also a younger person. As far as, you know, me coming back to Dimitri's not my favorite person, but the idea of trying to help him at that time to have some sort of ownership in the name, it made sense to me because Jim and Ivan did have their legal threats of, oh, we could take this down or take that down, and had Dimitri acted sooner, he could have had everything. In fact, there might still be a chance for that now, but I think that the name in itself has been tarnished. I don't know if there's any point in trying to revive Wall Street Silver. You know, something new can emerge. Hopefully it goes well, but I did have the understanding of it back then, just so you don't get the legal consequences. I just very slowly came to find out that I'm dealing with somebody that really doesn't care. Like, they don't care about the movement. I don't even know if they own a single ounce of silver. As far as people that, you know, maybe run things, to have some knowledge in the space, I think is good, or to direct people into that area. But I think what you just mentioned on, like, hey, build something that has no ownership, that can't necessarily be corporatized or just have an insane amount of money funneled into one spot. I believe in that. But then for other folks that are on here, you know, some of the professionals in the space, I also understand, you know, if you trust somebody or like somebody and what they have to say, I totally understand, you know, sponsoring them or helping them to make that content. I'm not somebody that's going to say, hey, no one deserves to be paid anything. That's never been me. You know, you deserve to be paid for your time and your work, the effort that you've put in. I think that that's reasonable, and the level that Wall Street Silver took it to, completely unreasonable. That didn't have to be the way that things went. So I'm not somebody that says, hey, let's let all these people work for free. I've gotten some hate over that, but that's not my idea on things. People do deserve to be paid if they're putting effort in.
Absolutely. And thank you for adding that. Bob, you had something to add here as well, if we don't have any other questions.
Well,